Hey guys, Torcus here. So in this video we're going to be talking about Azir, the last champion to be revealed for the Empires of the Ascended expansion. We're going to be checking out him as well as the cards that are coming out alongside him. We're finally done all this stuff, and I'm going to be doing a video for my Theorycraft decks later today, so you can check that out too if you'd like, but let's just hop right into this and look at these cards. So here we have Azir. He is a 3-mana 1/5. When allies attack, summon an attacking Sand Soldier. So we saw yesterday the Sand Soldiers are 1/1s, ephemeral, and they deal 1 damage as a Nexus strike, extra damage to the Nexus. So, you know, they're more impactful if they hit the Nexus for sure, but they're pretty easily to chump block. His level up is that you've summoned 10 units. He does not have to be on the board for this. This is a in-deck level up possibility, so you can do it that way too. Then he becomes a 2/6, and when you summon an ally, give us both +1/+0 this round. So effectively, it becomes this, you can buff all of your other units a little bit at a time, and Azir will actually grow quite a bit at the same time, so that he has quite a lot of stats. The 6 health means that he would end up being able to trade out with a lot of stuff. So this before his whole like Sun Disc level up seems really solid. I think you know, getting an extra Sand Soldier off of things all the time is definitely going to work pretty well. There's going to be a lot of Sand Soldier support in the Shurima region. Lots and lots of cards that you can run there. So building a Sand Soldier archetype won't be difficult. And getting him leveled up won't be difficult either, because 10 units, you know, it may sound like a decent amount, but if you're adding in all the Sand Soldiers you're going to be getting, it's going to happen in no time. So yeah, I think Azir is going to be really strong. And then when you do restore the Sun Disc, you get this 6/6, and when you level up, replace your deck with the Emperor's deck, then draw 1. The Emperor's deck includes a bunch of very fancy cards that we're going to look at in a second. And when allies attack, summon an attacking Sandstone Charger. So you switch from Sand Soldiers to Sandstone Chargers. You know, a Sand Soldier, you know, that you may buff them a lot so that they end up being as strong as that, but it's unlikely. 5/2, which is a Sandstone Charger, is generally going to be a lot better than a Sand Soldier by then. And the cards that you get in the deck are really nuts. So I'm going to scroll down to those. So I don't really have to evaluate these. They're all absolutely nuts. Basically, you got Crumbling Sands, obliterate an enemy follower for 4 mana, fast speed, draw 1. 2 mana 5/4 fearsome, draw 1. Like, this draws 1 and then strikes your opponent at the end of the turn, and it has barrier. There's a landmark, 5 mana landmark that gives every enemy vulnerable, and then you rally every turn. It's like a Garen on a stick. This Ascended's Call rallies and summons leveled Renekton and Nasus. Like, this is enough to end the game. If you know, if you get your Sun Disc off and you get a super big Renekton or whatever, it could still get removed. But if your deck gets upgraded to this degree, then you're gonna win that game. Like, the chance of your opponent making it from that point, it would have to mean that they were very far ahead at that time. And honestly, I think in a mono Sharima deck that's running the 7 mana spell, this will be really easy to do. Even in a hardcore Sand Soldier deck, if you are able to get the Renekton level up, then the Azir level up is not even a consideration. That'll be like a given. So I think it's absolutely possible. And we are also going to see that the mono Shurima deck now has a really good support card that's going to keep him in the game. So I think Azir is going to be one of the best champions this expansion. I think he's going to be really, really solid. And I think he definitely also makes it so that the mono Shurima deck with Sundisk has a lot higher of a chance of being viable now with him in it, without a doubt. It's even possible you end up not running Nasus at all, just because you can run Azir and Renekton, and they're both cheaper. And the Nasus is definitely much harder to get anything value out of it, since it's really hard to slay stuff in this region after all. Okay, so then the next card is his champ spell. It is Arise, 3 mana burst speed, summon a Sand Soldier. So it is a burst speed summon effect, which is very significant, but it is really expensive. You're getting a 1/1 unless you've had a bunch of, unless you're doing like buff effects on it. It is a 1/1 for 3 mana, but you can do it as a emergency blocker, and you can do it as a setup into an open attack, which both of those are very, very good. But if you wanted to do more than one, you're spending a ton of mana on this effect. Like, if you compare it to, what is it? The Mist card in Shadow Isles, that one gives you a non-ephemeral Mist Wraith. Mist Call, that's what it's called. It's a non-ephemeral Mist Wraith, and generally a Mist Wraith, you know, it's got like 2 health, and it's normally going to have more than 2 attack because you'll have had other Mist Wraith synergy in the deck. And it has Fearsome, so like 1 more mana, it's a lot more impactful of a thing outside of a few buffs that you can put on this, but it's never going to be at the same level as a Mist Wraith, that's for sure. But at the same time, it's like, this is a champ spell, so I don't think most Azir decks are going to run this, but getting it off of his champ spell in certain situations is going to be very, very helpful for what you're dealing with. Like, if you can get a double block off of this for 6 mana, that can be really, really strong. And sometimes you just set up a lethal with double casting it or whatever when you have buffers on board to make sure that they're extra powerful and your opponent doesn't really have much to deal with it. So it's really interesting, but yeah, definitely probably just going to be off of the bonus Azirs that you have in your deck. Then we have Emperor's Divide, 7 mana slow speed spell. Give enemies vulnerable this round and summon 6 Sand Soldiers. So the thing about this is the ability for you to have 6 board slots is somewhat unlikely in a deck like this. You're probably always going to have at least 2 slots filled already. So it might not be that relevant to be able to do this, but the vulnerable thing is pretty significant. It could end up giving you what you need for a great attack, especially combining this with Azir. If you do pull 4 Sand Soldiers, they're all getting the +1 buff, and Azir is getting +4 attack if he's leveled already before this starts. And that means that you can have him be 6 attack and have all of the Sand Soldiers pull the blockers out of the way. And that's a decent way of getting some extra face damage in, so that's definitely a cool way to use that. But yeah, the awkwardness and the slowness of it, I think you're definitely not going to run more than 1 of this, and you might not always run 1 of this. Depends on just how you end up building the deck. It's going to vary based on like different lists, different strategies, and exactly how you want to implement your Sand Soldiers and your Azir and all that. But definitely a cool one. Sometimes going to have a big impact on a game, but most likely you're not going to see it a ton. And this one is the most exciting one. Rite of Negation, 4 mana, fast speed. Kill an ally or destroy one of your mana gems to stop all enemy fast spells, slow spells, and skills. So anything that goes on the stack, you can get rid of it. This is effectively a multi-deny. You can deny as many things as you need to deny with this. There is obviously a little bit of a cost to it with the ally destruction or the mana gem destruction. But if you hit 2 things, then that's going to be really, really worth. Not that it's very likely that you're going to hit 2 things. Normally, people do things one at a time, and that's really all you're going to be worrying about. By the time you play this, they'll put something else on the stack afterwards. Overcommitting into it is not really what people want to be doing. Especially after people know that this card exists, they'll definitely, a lot of the time, be trying to make sure that they don't overcommit into it by playing too many spells at once. But there are situations where, you know, they like an Ezreal deck or something might throw a lot of Mystic shots at your face to try and finish you off at the end of the game, and this would just blow it out. They'd lose all of their stuff, and you'd be pretty good to go after that. But definitely, I think the most important thing about this is that you now have protection from landmark removal for your Sun Disk. People were worried that Sun Disk would just get totally blown out by landmark removal, and then there'd be nothing you could do. This way, when you are going into a situation where landmark removal is a possibility, where you're playing against a region where you think they might have it, and you're at a mana point where you think it's possible, you can definitely try to bank 4 mana and make sure that you're prepared to play this at the time that it's going to happen. It's going to increase the consistency of the deck dramatically if landmark removal is a significant thing in the meta. If landmark removal ends up not being a big consideration, then maybe you don't run as many of these, but having the ability to do that is always going to be good. And I imagine this is probably going to go in a lot of different Shurima decks, just like Deny is in Ionia already. So yeah, so that's going to be it for that. All of these Emperor cards look sick, and Azir also looks really sick. I'm so excited to try a deck with Azir. I have already theory crafted a few, and we're going to be checking out those in my next video. So please leave a like if you enjoyed this one. Comment down below what you think of Azir and the Sand Soldier stuff. And if you would like to see more of my content in the future, please subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next one.